Okay, guys, welcome back to another live stream. It's absolutely boiling in the UK right now. I'm dying over here, especially because I can't put my fan on because you'll just hear like a fan sound throughout the stream. So yeah, we'll hang in there, guys. But today should be a lot of fun because we're going to be talking about Sacai. I don't think I've actually ever made a dedicated stream or video about Sacai. It's kind of just a brand that I've always said that I like. I've always kind of talked about Sacai and Chitose Abe as a designer in passing, but I think that, you know, I've never actually done anything dedicated to her work. So this should be a lot of fun, actually. This should be really enjoyable. Everyone's talking about the Lanvin stream. So the thing about the Lanvin stream is that my intention is to do that stream next. So tomorrow's stream will be the Lanvin stream. Um, it's kind of, I've told you guys already that right now there's construction going on in my house. We're doing a kitchen renovation. So because of that, as you can see, this is literally my bed. This is literally my pillow right here. This is where I sleep. So I've had to move the streams to my room, and it's kind of difficult to know if I can stream or not because um you know, most of the time what does happen is that the construction workers are working till like crazy hours, and then you don't really know if you can stream or not because of the noise. So that's the main reason why I kept pushing the Lanvin stream, and then ended up just deleting it because I didn't want to keep postponing it and people get pissed off, because a lot of people were not happy that I was postponing those streams. There's a lot of people that weren't happy at all. Finn says, I love Sakai. I wish it was a Nepo baby like Mike and I, so I could buy a bunch of Sakai. I don't even own anything that's Sakai. I actually don't own any Sakai. I would love to, though. It's just really expensive. But I'd definitely love to. Just go to your second house, or are there also renovations there as well? Oh my gosh, that's funny. No, I love Sakai. I just can't afford it now, at least. But yeah, hopefully one day, one day, one day, one day. But anyway, that being said, I think we should jump straight into um the topic and talk about kind of what we're talking about today. So today we're talking about Sakai's most recent collection, Spring Summer 25. Most of you will know who Chitose Abe is because of her famous collaboration with Nike, sort of jump starting a lot of fashion designers' careers. Because when you think of Martine Rose or you think of Chitose Abe, these are designers that were heavily respected in fashion before the collab. Everyone that works in fashion or is in and around fashion knew who these designers were before the Nike collab. But the Nike collabs for both of them made them mainstream and made them known by a wider audience. So Sacai is a brand that was founded by Chitose Abe in 1999. Before Chitose Abe made Sacai, she actually worked at Comme des Garçons. So she was a pattern maker under Rei Kawakubo, and then she later joined Junior Watanabe's team. And Junior Watanabe is also someone who kind of works under the Comme des Garçons umbrella, and his brand is also under the Comme des Garçons umbrella. There's a lot of people that don't actually know how that works. Like, there's a lot of people that don't realize that Comme des Garçons kind of has brands under its umbrella, like Kane and Amia, for example, and they just help kind of like distribute the clothing and stuff like that. But that's a story for another day. And what I really love about Sacai, the brand, Chitose Abe's work, is Chitose Abe is all about reworking classics, and there's also a lot of military inspiration. And I think a big reason for that is because her design is always about what is wearable and what people wear day to day. There's a quote from Chitose Abe, I'm like paraphrasing here, but it's similar to Yoji. It's kind of like a similar quote to something I've heard Yoji Yamamoto say, which is like Yoji Yamamoto gets really excited when he sees, everyday people in his clothes, which is why he loves doing Y3, because Y3 allows a cheaper price point, which can put more people in his designs. And he just loves to see, like, especially when they're not from a fashion background, they're just like a day-to-day person. So Chitose Abe has definitely said something similar, which is why she likes to rework classics. Her clothing a lot of the time is wearable. And something else that's kind of like Sacai law, I guess, in the word of Chitose Abe, is the fact that she doesn't want her clothing to look distinctively Japanese. She's actually made a point of that. She's done interviews in the past where she's kind of mentioned that she doesn't like this idea of looking at her clothes and being like, that's a Japanese designer, because she feels like Japanese designers can design anything and you can, you know, have Western inspired clothing. It doesn't really matter where you're coming from. So she didn't want to be kind of placed in a box of like a Japanese designer with these curvy sleeves and silhouettes, which I find kind of funny that she said that, because sometimes I do look at her clothes and I'm like, that looks very Japanese. But that's kind of what she said. Janelle says Y3 is not cheap. Y3 is definitely not cheap, but it's cheaper compared to Yoji's mainline. Yoji's mainline is insane prices. Finn says it's so funny because it's a very Japanese perspective on Americana for men's. 100%. And there are so many brands that have done that, right? Even brands like W Taps, which she collaborated with in this collection. They're known very much for doing kind of like this Japanese perspective on Americana. You think of brands like Capital, a lot of them, Neighborhood, a lot of them do that sort of like Japanese take on Americana. But it's interesting though that she said herself that she doesn't want to be, you know, placed into a box of what Japanese fashion is supposed to look like on an aesthetic level. I find that really, really interesting, to be honest. So what I'm going to do now is whip up the show notes to, yeah, someone said Neighborhood, W Taps, exactly. I'm going to whip up the show notes of the collection because it basically has like the main inspiration of the collection. There's some stuff that's missing in the show notes, which of course I'll mention. But essentially what the show notes say is the first thing is a quote by James Dean, which basically serves as the starting point to the collection. So the quote is, I think the prime reason for existence, for living in this world, is discovery. So that's a quote by James Dean. And it says, this season, Chitose Abe takes the iconic actor's sentiment, as well as his spirit of curiosity, honesty, freedom, and innocent naivety, as a starting point for a signature remixing and reinvention of familiar silhouettes and proportions, alongside her perennial hybridization to discover and create something new and unexpected. For women, this season takes the shape of strong architectural shoulders, pants with exaggerated volume, applied to familiar clothing archetypes. You could literally see that quote there. That could literally describe any Sacai collection, to be honest. That kind of thing of, you know, this season takes the shape of strong architectural shoulders, pants with exaggerated volume, applied to familiar clothing archetypes. That's basically what she does every season, to be honest. Then it says, for men, Chitose Abe riffs on Dean's Harrington jacket. I'll talk about it later, but James Dean, who, like I said, is a big part of this collection, kind of inspired most of it. He was famous for wearing this like red Harrington jacket. He actually has worn it many times, including in Rebel Without a Cause. So that was kind of a big inspiration, and she reworked James Dean's famous Harrington jacket. But anyway, continuing, it says, for men, Chitose Abe riffs on Dean's Harrington jacket and splices it with Sacai shapes, interspersed with the charm of vintage car and flower prints. That's also a reference to James Dean. James Dean was actually a racer himself, and he loved fast cars. Unfortunately, he actually died driving a very fast Porsche. So that's neither here nor there, but that's kind of why, you know, you have the vintage car and flower prints. It's a reference to him. Continuing, it says, models carry books and wear glasses, suggesting the ephemera of academia and youth discovery and motion. This is also a reference to the time that James Dean is famous for, mainly in, you know, the 50s and the 60s, when you would see these young kids carrying massive books in their arms and walking around, because once again, this is before the digital age. For you young bucks out there, this would have been before the internet, of course, and kids actually read books. And it was kind of like stylish and almost seen as intellectual to kind of hold books in your arms during that time and walk around. So I love the attention to detail from Chitose Abe and kind of like every single aspect of the collection. They also talk about the collaboration with Levi's. It says a new collaboration with Levi's reimagines hybrids of the type 1, 2, and 3 jackets, sculpted, waisted, and bonded to denim pants to make one piece. The original jeans take on new volume Sacai style. Japan's most admired W Taps introduced their military-inspired style to Sacai's hybridization. Traditional JM Western penny loafers morph into something new. That's also nothing new from Sacai. Sacai a lot of times does have kind of like a riff or a different take on penny loafers or just different kind of traditional shoes. She's done like a traditional riff on Oxfords from my memory. There's also a new Nike collaboration in the collection. It says Nike and Sacai introduced the Zegamadome sneaker. What a name. Zegamadome sneaker. The set design inspired by Dennis Stock's iconic photo of James Dean in front of his childhood home mirrors the collection's youthful attitude. Models embody the spirit of coming of age as they exit the deconstructed home one by one, telling a story of growth and self-discovery, which is also interesting how she's embedded the set in the inspiration of this collection. I love the attention to detail once again. Not to throw shade, but I think Sean McGear can learn a lot from this in the sense of like world building, if you're going to be inspired by a specific thing, and how you can make every aspect of that thing show through in the way you do the set and the way even down to what the models are carrying with their arms and things like that. So I think that there's definitely a lot to learn for a lot of other designers when it comes to attention to detail. Micah says I'm talking like I'm 56. That's funny. Before the internet for you young bucks. I kind of love this idea once again, like they said in the show notes, this idea of kind of a deconstructed house. And kind of just to talk about James Dean, we also see prints of James Dean on t-shirts, if you guys are wondering what those prints are. But James Dean is a very, very famous actor, especially well known, especially in the 50s and the 60s. I didn't actually know who James Dean was until I think around 2015. I think it was like a documentary. It was more like a film, right? But there's a film, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I really need to remember. But it was basically about James Dean, and I think it was called Life, actually, now that I'm remembering. It was about James Dean and Dennis Stock, who was like a photographer that used to shoot a lot of photos of James Dean, and was talking about their relationship with each other. And that's how I learned about him. And you kind of learn how James Dean kind of was embedded in the rock and roll movements of the 50s and 60s. But I think the most important thing to say about James Dean, which ties into this collection, is when you think of James Dean, you think of freedom, and you think of, I think James Dean at that time was like a symbol of youth and youth rebellion. He was like the race car driver. He was the cool kid. He was really photogenic. People wanted to be him because he was good looking. You know, he was the fun kid. People liked his style, a lot of stuff that he wore. People like copied the way he used to dress. So it was kind of at that time a big factor of, yeah, kind of what Kate is saying. He was the definition of cool in the US. Exactly that. Exactly that. So it's kind of like, and unfortunately he died young. I remember someone mentioning it here. I think he died at the age of 24, if I'm remembering correctly. And like I said, he was driving his Porsche. He was actually driving on the way to a race meet, and unfortunately he crashed and died at the scene. But that was kind of like, he just became a symbol of like young American coolness and that sort of stuff. So yeah, people are saying that Jeremy Allen is channeling James Dean, but that kind of forms the main basis of this collection, because obviously a lot of the clothing is styled around James Dean. If you look at the denim, of course, She reworked the Harrington jackets. Here we see kind of like the prints that reference James Dean's love of cars. So it's really cool. I will say though that this collection did seem to me really safe compared to a lot of past Sacai collections I've seen. And even though Sacai is meant to be wearable, that's kind of Chitose Abe's goal. It's kind of just taking classics, reworking them into something that is slightly more intriguing than the average everyday clothing. That being said, I do think that I didn't go to this show, but the show prior to this, the Fall Winter 24 show, I was actually there, and that collection seemed more, maybe not avant-garde, because I wouldn't say that Sacai deviates from the norm so drastically, but it seemed less commercial. It seemed less safe. Someone saying another collaboration with JM Weston. Yeah, I talked about that, Daniel, in the show notes, the reimagining of the penny loafers. And after this runway show, I actually show you their Instagram page because they have a lot of close-ups of the collaborations. I actually love the penny loafers because I'll show you guys when I show the Instagram page, but you can kind of wear them without putting your full foot in it because the back of the loafers bend. Here we see the military inspiration, some of the collaboration with Levi's and W Taps. I also like that she has those kind of on the jackets and actually a lot of pieces across this collection. She has those like medals that soldiers wear. I can't remember if it's called like a Medal of Honor or what it is. I'm not an American soldier, so I don't exactly know what's called, but they wear these kind of like medals depending on what part of the army there are. So there's like a Medal of Honor for the army, for the navy, for the air force, and Sacai has kind of designed their own Medal of Honor for their military inspired pieces. That's a really cool touch. That was really, really cool. Oh, Culture's talking about the loafers. I always want to walk on the back of my loafers. Yeah, same, same. Retro Snow White says collapsible heel is cool in theory. Yeah, I think the only thing about it though is quality, because how quickly will that heel wear out, or what's going to happen to it long term? I think is something that definitely is a question that needs to be asked. But I like the idea, and it's not the first time. Even Gucci has done that with their loafers. Like some of their loafers have that collapsible heel where you can just kind of like slide your foot in and just press the back of your foot on the back and it folds. There's many brands that have done that before. But very, very Sacai silhouettes, kind of like the frilly backs and stuff. You see that season to season. We saw that last season as well. But the footwear, Sacai wise, is always so amazing. I love also what she does with the sleeves on a lot of the pieces. My feet aren't built for collapsible heels. Why not? Why not? Tilda Swinton is the new James Dean. I guess so. I mean, Tilda Swinton is definitely like a symbol of like cool. Like, there's definitely people that look at Tilda Swinton as like style inspo or like an icon. I mean, I think Tilda Swinton's definitely an icon. Sakai consistently has some of the best collabs up there with Junior. Yeah, I totally agree. I also love who they collaborate with. Like Sakai and Junior have collaborated with like the North Face, and they've done really cool outerwear with the North Face. I think even the most recent season, like I was in Dover Street Market not too long, and the North Face collab with Junior Watanabe is actually in store right now. It's really cool. Um, so yeah, I do agree that they have the most interesting collabs. I do like that the Nike collab this time is kind of different. It's no longer just like reworking very obvious and famous Nike silhouettes. It's almost like Nike is giving her more freedom now. I mean, it's been an ongoing collaboration for so long at this point, but it's giving them that ongoing freedom. We can see some of the Levi stuff, but also the models carrying the books, which goes again to what they were saying in the show notes, where she's trying to bring about this 50s and 60s youthful energy and channel that in down to every single aspect of the show, even down to the fact that young kids used to carry books around and pretend to be more intellectual than they were. But they probably were reading some of those books, to be honest. We need to bring that back, like it being fashionable to carry books around and to pretend that you're so intellectual because you read so much. That would be very interesting to bring back as a trend in the digital age. Yeah, so Sakai collaborates with everyone every 6 months. You hear about a new collab. That is true. They do collaborate a lot, but I do love the collaborations. I think that the collaborations are always good. I rarely see Sakai collaborations where they make me question things. It's kind of like do you guys remember that collaboration between Prada and Adidas? I genuinely think that that's one of the worst collaborations of all time. It was so bad. Um, but anytime I just think of collaborations that are pointless, I always think of that collaboration between Prada and Adidas, and I've never thought that about a Sakai collaboration, to be honest. Just got home, opened a Guinness and new ice cream. Shout out to the Guinness. I don't really drink a lot of alcohol, but I've heard Guinness is very nice for the people that like beer and stuff. Rumors have it Chalamet is going to play Bob Dylan. Kate Blanchett played him perfectly. What for? That's literally Emma Roberts' business, selling books as accessories to people who don't read. I actually think Sakai in every way possible is calculated. So I like their collabs. It's just not that out of the blue to me. I think obviously they differ. Some collaborations are more avant-garde, some collaborations are more commercial. I think it just depends, to be honest. I think it just depends. I love the sleeves. Obviously, I've seen those Sakai sleeves every season. Not that there's anything wrong with it. That's her signature. Like even in vests, you can see it in the vest, in shirts, in jackets. Just the Sakai sleeve and the Sakai shoulder. But it's cool to see how she's channeled that into kind of like James Dean and the way that James Dean used to dress in his wardrobe and kind of prints that are inspired by him. So I think that's really cool. I think that's definitely really, really cool. You guys can see the Medal of Honor once again on the military inspired piece that was in collaboration with W Taps. Like W Taps is cool, man. W Taps is one of those brands that kind of shaped Japanese fashion in the 90s. It's kind of like that Ura Harajuku movement. Is when you think of brands like W Taps, Undercover, Neighborhood, Bape, they all came up in the 90s. They all started like making a lot of noise in the 90s. So that's kind of like a really cool time for Japanese fashion. Leah says this collection might go triple platinum in New York. Everything looks so very wearable too. I totally agree. While I do also think that this collection is really safe compared to past Sakai collections I've seen, even down to like something very recent like the fall winter collection that I was talking about. Is it better to buy books you don't read or not at all? I think that it's very fashionable to buy books that you don't read. Like so many people I know that work in fashion or are creatives in any regard, they kind of just buy, the catwalk books like Dior Catwalk, Versace Catwalk, probably never opened it a day in their life. And everyone just has those books on the coffee table. Or the one that everyone has is the Tom Ford one. The black one, not the white one, not the newer one, the older one, the black Tom Ford book. So many people have that just slapped on their coffee table to look more, artsy fancy. Mina Lay made a video about using books as fashion accessories. I haven't actually watched that video. I didn't know she made that video, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Coffee table book culture. I promise you, people have never, ever, ever read those books. Like, there's no way. And everyone has the same. Like, every time I go to someone's house, I'm expecting to see at least a Dior, Chanel, or Versace catwalk. The Versace catwalk is actually quite recent because it didn't come out too long ago. So it's more like the Chanel or the Dior or the Vivienne Westwood one. So many people have the Vivienne Westwood one too. It's kind of funny. Me when I get a little book, insert designer here. The little book of Prada, the little book of Chanel, the little book of Ralph Lauren. I have magazines from every country I visit, even when I don't know the language. So I'm made to be part of the problem. I'm just joking around. If you like it aesthetically and you want to, place it on your windowsill and make it look artsy, you do you. You do you. The only reason why I haven't rinsed it is because I have a library, but my library is in my office and I can't film there or stream there because my office is too small. There's just a room in my house that has a bookshelf with all my fashion books, a table, and a chair, and that's it. If not, I would have angled all my streams and YouTube videos in front of my library so people can see my fashion books and I can pretend to be so intellectual. Oh my God, look at me. I've read so many fashion books. I'm so smart. Finn said, read me to filth. I have them all. Oh my God. I was hoping you wouldn't say the Vivienne Westwood one. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But anyway, going through to Sacai, I thought it'd be good to kind of see some of these pieces up close. We've got the race cars, obviously inspired by James Dean and his love of fast cars, fast things. We've got the details. Oh, there's some Sacai boxes. Sacai boxes for the win. Like, if you're more chic than the Supreme guys, you wear the Sacai boxes. Very, very, very utilitarian as always with a lot of her designs, but just, adding these panel flaps to the side, adding random stitching, having a Sacai sleeve, wider sleeves, which I really like that she does. Okay, this is interesting because we didn't actually get to see these books up close. So it says Sacai Men's Spring Summer 25. So they're actually carrying, one of the books they're carrying is actually to do with the collection. That's actually a good touch. That's a good touch. Aura says I'm flexing the rooms in my mansion. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how many collections do not have heels? I love that so much for me. I think it's also because there's a move to, like, in general, fashion has become more casual. We kind of know this to be true. Everyone is talking about mules. Now we're talking about sneaker loafers. Like, what do they call them again? Slofers or something like that. What's the word that they use for sneakers and loafers? It's like snowfers or something. So I just think fashion in general is becoming more casual and the footwear is becoming more comfortable to wear. So I think that's one of the main reasons why we're starting to see less and less heels and, uncomfortable shoes, unless it's a brand like, I don't know, Yves Saint Laurent or Chanel. Sacai boxers have a 3M strip for nighttime safety. Let's see some more. So yeah, some more Sacai books. I wonder if they're not actually Sacai books, because it could also be that they kind of made this wrapping paper for the books that just says Sacai Men's Spring Summer and stuff. But Sacai, I do have a magazine. Last time I was in Paris for Fashion Week, Sacai actually launched a magazine. So I actually have that magazine. So I wonder any of them are holding the actual Sacai magazine. That would be cool. I also love that that casing there looks like denim. So I wonder if they use kind of like the strap fabric from the Levi's collab and just kind of use that as a book casing. I remember when Can lifted the rule that women had to wear heels on the red carpet. Thank you, Olsen twins. Retro Snow White says, Energy, yes, like making models walk in platform stilettos. Too small for them, it's so cringe. That's why models normally have messed up toes. Like, if you look at most models, they start when they get older, especially, they start walking weirdly. Their toes are like bent inwards awkwardly because a lot of them have had to force their feet in really uncomfortable shoes that are not their size. It's maybe a half size too small, and they just have to make it work because there's no alternative at the time. So yeah, it's good to see that models now are, for the most part, wearing more comfortable shoes. We don't want more Naomi Campbell moments in the Vivienne Westwood show where she literally could have sprained her ankle and torn ligaments in her foot. Luckily, she didn't, but I have literally, my ankle has been in the same position as Naomi Campbell's ankle on the Vivienne Westwood runway show, and I've torn stuff playing basketball where your ankle kind of just twists sideways. So yeah, shout out to shout out to Naomi Campbell though. Her ankles are definitely stronger than mine because my ankles would have given absolute way if I fell like that. Here we've got some more Levi's. This is kind of cool, kind of like a Levi's denim cropped blazer. I love, love, love. So, guys, remember when I was talking about the silhouette that works for my body? This is the exact silhouette that I'm talking about because I have a small torso and really long legs, and I also have really long arms. So, what she's done here is the sleeves are elongated and the body is cropped. That is so perfect for my proportions. It literally couldn't get any more perfect than that. That is like that's exactly what I love to wear. I love the lapels too, kind of like satin looking. Here once again we have, this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of like the medal of honor that you have, which is like, you know, those military decorations that's like awarded to different people in the army, and they have different ones. So there's one for the army, there's one for the air force, there's one for the navy. So I kind of like how in these military inspired garms, that's the Sacai medal of honor. I wish he made it more less, because obviously we can still see that it's kind of like a medal of honor. I wish he made it more distinctive, like it was a proper badge or like it was like an S flap or something more distinctive to being Sacai. I have two Levi denim jackets and now I need a third. Being tall and broad, boxy crop fit on top half always just looks good. True, 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 true. Io, do you ever buy slash wear women's wear? I know some guys buy, for instance, Miu Miu jackets. So I don't buy or wear women's wear, but it's not because I wouldn't, because honestly, I would. I would wear loads of women's wear. It's just that it doesn't fit me. I'm too big for women's wear. Women's sizes don't fit me. And even when I buy menswear, I have to buy some of the biggest sizes. So yeah, I would love to wear it. There's a lot of men that, once again, like you said, wear Miu Miu. A lot of men wear Miu Miu. But yeah, I just can't fit into it. So that's why I don't wear it. This is really cool, like the button detailing. It's cool what she's doing with the collab because also she's done the stitching, like the Levi stitching pockets that everyone is used to, but the fabric is not denim at all, which is cool because maybe this is denim, but the other fabric, you might look at it and think it's denim, but it isn't. It looks like wool. It looks very thick as well. Obviously, knitwear is very, very, very key to the Sacai brand. She actually started her brand making knitwear. So knitwear has been a key theme amongst all of her work. Every season there's knitwear, so that's kind of like also cool. We've got the Sacai shoulder once again, the Sacai sleeves embedded into the knitwear, and this is chic. I don't want to slight other designers again in terms of like making knitwear chic and making knitwear look amazing, but there's designers that design at big houses that could definitely learn on how to make knitwear that is actually really, really cool and interesting with these shoulders and these sleeves. Skirt detailing, I saw this exact type of thing, which is obviously something that she's done loads of times. In the last collection, Sacai sleeves once again. We've got the Medal of Honor. It's so funny because isn't it so ironic that when you're in the military, you have to kind of do something crazy to kind of get your Medal of Honor. And when it comes to Sacai, you get your Medal of Honor by just spending money. Obviously, I know it's an inspiration. It's just funny to draw parallels with that. Are the medals gold toned brass? I hope not. I absolutely hope not. Agent G says this Sacai deconstructed denim stuff looks cool. I totally agree. Jason, shout out to Jason. Chitose does some cool pieces. Do you know anything about her husband's past collections and why they chose to never collaborate in each other's collections? So you're talking about Junichi Abe. So Junichi Abe, I don't actually know why they chose not to collaborate. Probably because it's draining. Like, I know people who are designer couples, and I won't tell you who because they're quite prominent designers. But what this person has told me is that when you're a designer and your partner is a designer and you're working on different brands, it can become draining if your relationship is also predicated around your work. You kind of need ways to separate it. So this person told me that a big issue in our marriage was the fact that when I would come home, we would kind of talk about work, and then everything becomes about work, and then we're comparing and contrasting work, and everything just became about work. And we almost like lost our relationship because it wasn't even about us anymore. Every single fiber of our being was just about our brand and our design. So I think the reason why they don't want to collaborate, probably, I'm not them, but I'm just taking it from an example of two other prominent designers I know that have told me this, who are married. So they said that what was good for their marriage was actually, you know, separating work from their home life. So when they're at home, they don't talk about their brands at all. So I can imagine collaborating would be the worst thing. That would be like completely bringing work home and constantly talking about it. Like, you guys are just trying to relax and watch a film, and you're like, the collab we're working on, have we tried? And this idea and that idea. And then ideas are just coming to you. I can imagine it could be really draining. So my guess is that's why they never work together on collections, or they don't collaborate on collections. Um Orhel says, since I've become more familiar with her work, I like it. However, I can see many knockoffs coming and reworking of surplus military coats and jackets by design students. Yeah, I mean, some design students already copy Sacai. Like, I've seen um a lot of students copy her work already, to be honest. Yes, Luke and Lucy Meyer are married. But they're working on the same brand, so it's different. What I was saying is that if you're working on different brands, it can be a bit weird. Like, who else are prominent designers that have dated? I know that Yoji Yamamoto and Rei Kawakubo dated, and I don't want to misquote, but I do remember Yoji one time saying that they ended up becoming friends because they realized that they were almost like competing with each other. Like, it felt like they were in competition with each other. I think it was Yoji that said that. Ray definitely wouldn't say that. It was Yoji that said that. Yeah, color is severely underrated. That's true. I think I've made a video about color in the past. Um Like, honey, I'm trying to watch Long Legs, the movie. Please don't bring up your nylon shoes. A couple of YouTubers turned designers taking notes on the show. um, oh yeah, this was the Nike collab. I've forgotten what they're called. It's kind of like a weird name, but yeah, this is the Nike Sacai collab, which I think is a lot more interesting than the old stuff. Here you can see the penny loafers, the Jay and Weston collaboration. That's really cool with the bent back. I think we need a better angle of those. I like the heel on these Chelsea boots also. That's really, really cool. Really, really snazzy. Okay, yeah. So here you can see kind of like the foldable back loafers, penny loafers. It's very interesting. This is way more JM Western than stuff I've seen from her in the past. Normally, she loves a chunky sole. By Sakai standards, this is a very thin sole. It's not a thin sole by any means, but compared to stuff that she's done in the past, is definitely a thin sole. No socks is crazy. Aren't you supposed to wear loafers without socks? Granted, I always wear loafers with socks, but I swear that the like fashion rules, not that I follow any fashion rules, but you're actually supposed to wear loafers without socks. Apparently, that's what fashion rule makers say. Negative traction control. Thoughts on Jeffrey B. Small, on what Jeffrey B. Small is doing with his transparency about the design processes, despite the trend within artisanal spaces, being to withhold information about their supply chain. First of all, I love Jeffrey B. Small. Secondly, is I commend it. I think I said this in a past stream because I was saying that I'm so happy that we're seeing the disintegration of luxury fashion because I just think that that system needs to die. This kind of overconsumption, overproduction, kind of fast fashion, but charge luxury prices kind of direction the industry has gone, which is why you see the purists like Martin Margiela, Andy Millermy, Star, Dries Van Noten, all of them have quit because they don't like where fashion has gone and it's not really about craft anymore. So in that sense, I absolutely love what Geoffrey B. Small is doing. I guess a lot of other artisanal designers, like the very niche ones, probably a big reason why they hide their process is more because they're trying to protect their design process. They don't want people to copy them. But I do like it in the sense of just kind of people can actually see the way your clothes are made. So it almost becomes easier to justify why you charge what you do when people actually have, a view between like a view into how they're made. Popped by to Blue Mountain School. Oh my god, I haven't been to Blue Mountain School in forever. To check out his latest collection, and the quality is legit insane. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the artisanal designers, luckily, they actually care about quality and they, you know, go to extreme lengths to make sure that their stuff is really well made. Can't say the same for other sides of, you know, other sides of the fashion industry. Oh yeah, here. So we have a print of James Dean. And even the quote too, I think the prime reason for existence for living in this world is discovery, which is basically like the basis of this collection. You also see the Sacai shoulder. It's kind of cool. It adds just such a good edge to, because even brands that I love, like Anzabinamista and stuff, when they make a vest, they make a plain vest. I like what Sacai does, where even a very commercial piece like a vest, a printed vest, you still have the Sacai shoulder. So it's just way more interesting when you wear it, even though it's just a vest. Someone is saying boat shoes are supposed to be worn without socks too. Only Prada understood how to renovate the lexicon of design. The Chanel's, Dior's, Balenciagas are just tired. I totally agree. I totally agree. We've got some Sacai underpieces, Sacai belts too. That's cool. A lot of James Dean prints. The James Dean fans are gonna love this collection, by the way. This is also a really cool leather jacket. Obviously, James Dean used to wear a lot of red jackets, including his famous red Harrington. So, yeah, straight reference to James Dean there. Here is just a different colorway with different or actually no, I think it's exactly the same. So yeah, it's actually the same, just different colorway. That's really cool. Then here is a version with the more extreme Sacai shoulders. I'm guessing she's separating them by gender. So these are the menswear jackets, and then the ones with the fun sleeves are the women's wear jackets. That's cool. That's actually really cool. These two-tone pieces that she does every season, I love them so much. Honestly, I really, really love those pieces. Someone's asking me if I've tried Sacai in person. Yes, I've tried Sacai in Dover Street Market, and it's amazing. It fits really, really nicely. So yeah, I've tried a lot of it, but not I can't fit into the women's wear, like I've said, but the menswear stuff I've tried it. I one thing I really want to buy is a Sacai bomber jacket, because I like the sleeves of Sacai bomber jackets, and they're like the military inspired ones, the ones that are khaki that she does every season. Like, she might not put it on the runway, but when you go to the showroom, every single season there's a Sacai version of a bomber jacket. So I want to get one of those because I just think they're cool. I like the shape, and I don't actually own any bomber jacket because I'm really fussy. I also don't own any puffer jacket because I'm also really fussy. I'm kind of like looking for the perfect puffer jacket to own. Here we've got some more looks of the Levi's collab. Really, really cool. Okay, Jason is telling people about where you can buy Joffrey B. Small, I'm guessing. Daniel, are you saying the Sacai bomber jacket's on sale? I might have to see if I could pick one up because I actually love those. But yeah, I'm really fussy with bomber jackets and um puffer jackets because I need the perfect shape. Like I've told you, it needs to be cropped in a body, elongated sleeves. Rick Owens does do a version of like cropped in a body, elongated sleeves. I'm starting to sound like Sanjeev, but it's true though. Cropped in a body, elongated sleeves. I need a puffer jacket that fits like that. But my issue with the Rick Owens puffer jackets that are cropped in the body and elongated sleeves is that they're a bit too tight. They're a bit too fitted. I want a puffer jacket that is cropped in the body and elongated sleeves, but not as tight fitting, like slightly wider sleeves, slightly more flowy. Like, it doesn't have to be like a they fit like tights. The Rick Owens jackets that are cropped in the body, they literally fit so tight. So I don't like it. So that's why I'm still in the search for the perfect puffer jacket. If you guys have any suggestions, definitely let me know. You've got Sacai shoulders on a polo shirt. I love that shade of purple, by the way. Really, really nice. I think Leo asked me earlier if I'm going to speak about that's the knitted piece that I really love from this collection. Really, really love this piece. Um, yeah, Leo was asking me if I was going to talk about Burberry. I might talk about that in a later stream because I wanted the next stream to be about Lanvin, but we're going to do a vote. Do you guys want the next stream to be about Lanvin and Peter Copin, and if he's going to turn Lanvin into the next Balenciaga, or do you want it to be about Burberry and their financial difficulties and the fact they have a new CEO, blah blah blah? What do you guys want the new the next stream to be about. It's up to you guys. Oh wow, more people are saying okay, 2 Burberrys, 2 Lanvins, 3 Burberrys, 4 Burberrys. Uh-oh. People want me to talk about Burberry more so than they want me to talk about Lanvin. I guess Peter will have to wait. Only for a little bit though. It's also cool how they've done this kind of like campaign for kind of like the invitations also kind of teasing the collection with the leather jackets there. It's cool. Yeah, this is the stuff that I'm talking about that like when you go into Sacai showrooms, because they're saying that this is women's items from fall winter 2024. But when you go to a Sacai showroom in Paris, literally there's always a version of like some sort of like bomber jacket type looking thing every single season, like every damn season, which I love because she changes it slightly, but I need to pick one of those up at some point. Okay, so people are still saying Burberry. Wait. Let me do the count. Let me do the count. So no, Burberry, no. Okay, so Burberry is winning by 1 vote. So because some people were slick and they tried to comment twice, so I'm not counting your double comment. So I guess we're gonna have to do Burberry next, and then we'll do Lanvin. It's fine. They're gonna be one after the other anyway. BOF had a piece about the universal standard selling in a post-Ozempic landscape, and it's interesting to see the silhouettes are so exaggerated. Interesting. I need to read that. I don't think I saw that. I do not think I saw that. To be honest, I don't really know how to do a poll in a live chat. Otherwise, I would have just done that. That would be a lot easier. But I don't actually know how to do that. I have no idea. Let me see. Oh, okay. I found it. I found it. I found it. I learned something new today, guys. So let me do this poll. I didn't even know that button was there. Lanvin, my system was hacked. I'm going to do a poll, guys, so it's easier that way rather than commenting. Okay, so I've added the poll to the chat. So yeah, you guys can vote away. But yeah, it's really fun to talk about Sakai. Like I said, this is a lot more commercial than past Sakai seasons. I'll show you guys actually, let me see if I can get that on the screen. The Sakai collection was at the fall winter 24. Because you guys will see what I mean when I'm saying that that collection is a lot less commercial. I need to monitor the poll. So let me see what you guys are saying. Burberry is winning, guys. 53% to Burberry, 47 to Lanvin. Luke says it's Lanvin wins, it's rigged. Why would it be rigged? The people have spoken. I feel like you guys just want me to talk about Burberry because I feel like people know my talking points at this point. You guys know that I'm just going to shit on Burberry. You guys know that I'm going to probably say I'm happy because I want to see kind of the luxury fashion industry self-destruct. You know that I'm going to say that. I think people just want me to shout. People just like it when I'm screaming and shouting on a live stream, angry. I think it's people just find it entertaining. That's why people want me to talk about Burberry rather than have a deep analysis of, Lanvin and look at fashion history of Lanvin and look at Peter's work and see what he could do. Luke says the Burberry rebrand is more interesting because Burberry is flailing. Burberry needs to stop pretending it can be Bottega. End of story. Damn, that's harsh. That is harsh. We just like mess. Oh my word. Yes, I hunt the good stuff and go with Lanvin. Yeah, because the Lanvin stream is going to be actually quite interesting because kind of like to remind myself of Lanvin history because you sometimes I forget things that I've read in books. I have to revisit the books. So I have this book on Lanvin actually. Um, it's actually in my closet because obviously we have no space because of the renovation. So all the books that are relevant for me to read, they're in my bedroom. And I was like reading the book, reminding myself of Lanvin history. So when we talk about kind of where Peter's going to take the brand, it'll be very interesting to talk about a lot of stuff that has happened historically and how his aesthetic can mesh with that. Burberry is just confusing. I feel like it has no reason to be so confusing. I see what you mean though. All of a sudden, Lanvin is up top. That's crazy. Okay, now it's 50%. It's 50-50. Maybe I kind of convinced everyone to vote for Lanvin. We can be intellectual and then messy. No, Lanvin is not winning the poll right now. It's 51% to Burberry and 49% to Lanvin. Also, there's 56 of you watching, so please like the video. It's very good for the algorithm. If you just give me a lovely little like, that would be very nice of you guys. You guys are such centrists. People are telling me to stop the count. I'll give it 5 more minutes and then whatever it says is whatever it says in 5 minutes. Your Honor, this is unjust. People just want it to be Burberry. You guys are dodgy. You want me to end the poll when Burberry is up. Dodgy, dodgy, dodgy. Oh yeah, this by the way is the Fall Winter 24 collection that I just wanted you guys to see. Um one because you see kind of like the same silhouettes and two because it's less commercial. Um but then you do have to remember that it is a full winter collection and I think that Chitose Abe's ability to design outerwear is very, very advanced. So I think that she can show more of her design chops with a full winter collection than in a spring summer collection. Okay, you guys, I've ended the poll. Burberry wins. Burberry wins. So Burberry won. So the next stream will be about Burberry, which will probably be tomorrow, to be honest. Around the same time. Not you lot using your other Google accounts to rig the votes. Oh my word. You guys are actually hilarious. Democracy wins. I'm hella fake, but I'm just not as worried about Lanvin. Yeah, if the Lanvin discussion, I will say, will be very interesting, by the way. So definitely, if you like when I actually talk about clothes rather than just bash luxury brands, then definitely join in for the Lanvin stream. I wasn't wishy-washy. I voted once and once only. Oh no, nipples. I get scared when nipples go on the runway because I might get demonetized. So designers need to chill out with the nipples and the nudity for us streamers. Why are you making this man talk about Burberry? I know people just love to see my suffering. Yeah, so the reason why I've stopped doing double live streams, like live streams about so many different topics at once, is because it becomes harder to watch back, and then I have to clip the streams, and then people get pissed off when I clip the streams. Even though there's a certain subsect of people that want me to clip the streams because they don't want to sit down and have to watch through 3 hours to find the parts that they would like. So that's why I started making them like one topic per stream type of thing. So it's easier to follow and like watch back later. And also long term, right? If you're searching for Sacai content in the future and you find this stream, you know that we're probably going to talk about Sacai for a lot of it, rather than it being me reviewing 10 different shows and Sacai just happens to be one of the shows. People are saying the elections were rigged. The fashion roadman elections were rigged. This is how we get Trump. What I do find kind of interesting though is like Republicans who have been wearing bandages on their ear to show solidarity with Trump. It's kind of like a American politics is honestly like a circus. It's so entertaining. Luke says, I feel like Sacai is maybe one of the less interesting brands under the Comme des Garçons umbrella. Still nice clothes, but I prefer Junior, Comme des Garçons, Noir, Kane, and Mia. That makes sense because obviously Sacai is also the most wearable out of all of them. Like if we're talking about, it depends what CDG we're talking about, to be fair, because Comme des Garçons has so many diffusion lines. You can like Homme deux and plus, black, the main line, like shirt. It just gets confusing. But Sacai is way more commercial than mainline Comme des Garçons. Definitely more commercial than Kane and Amia. Junior, it depends on the season. So I can understand why you say it's the least interesting, but I also think that Sacai is for like, and this is something that Chitose Abe has said herself. Sacai is for someone who wants to look good and look cool and look different, but still wants something that's really wearable and chic. So it's kind of like a trench coat, but the way that like kind of like this piece, but the bottom moves kind of strangely compared to a normal coat. That's who Sacai is for. So I guess it's not supposed to be super avant-garde like Comme des Garçons mainline or Kane and Amia or what Junya Watanabe does sometimes. So yeah. Sacai is for the creative directors that work in gentrified coffee shops. I mean, I'm out here saying that I want to buy a Sacai bomber jacket, so clearly I must be one of those coffee shop going creatives. I never understand why people like Comme des Garçons. They're literally made of cheap plastic and they're scratchy. Um, yeah, I mean, she definitely does sometimes use interesting fabrics, to say the least. But sometimes it's for, I was like, why did it just go black like that? Sometimes it's for kind of like artistic effect. It's to achieve a certain artistic thing, like a silhouette. But yeah, if you're thinking of it from a quality standpoint, from a skin standpoint too, because some of the fabrics that Comme des Garçons uses are so not breathable. Like there's a woman, what's her name? There's a black woman who's famous for wearing Comme des Garçons, and she's a big fan of Comme des Garçons. What's her name again? She's really famous in fashion. She has like a huge collection of Comme des Garçons mainline. I've forgotten her name, but she would wear I've seen her in Paris Fashion Week wear certain Comme des Garçons mainline pieces, and she's dying under those clothes because they're not breathable at all. Like absolutely dying under those clothes, like sweating her life out. But I love the commitment to the art of fashion, which is why she's so loved in fashion. I'm a big fan of her as well. I think her outfits are always super interesting. Yes, Michelle, that's her name. Michelle Ellie. Let me bring on her. I need to pull up her Instagram because some people watching this live stream might not know who she is. But she's so cool, honestly. She's so cool. Like it's actually, yeah, she's so cool. Electricity bill through the wazoo. Why? Because of all the panels. I was actually standing in that corner in the right hand side there. I think you can actually see me. Yeah, you can actually see me if you pause. That's me over here. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor on the screen, but that's literally me. Eddie F says she has a cool video with Vogue showing her archive. Yeah, I think I've actually seen that. I think I've seen that video on Vogue because Vogue has a really good series going through people's archives. Like they went through Alexander Fury's John Galliano archive, which was sensational. Michelle Ellie's her Comme des Garçons collection. They also did someone's Rick Owens collection, I think. Someone says I'm looking at the camera. She has a video on YouTube about her collections and she has that shit on. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's the Vogue collection you're talking about. Someone says spotted. So it was Michael's Rick collection. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was cool to see also. But yeah, I'm gonna put her stuff on the screen after because I think she has some of the most interesting style on fashion. Fury hinted that he may be working on a Gaultier catwalk book. That would be cool though. That would be very interesting to see. That would be cool. When we see Aya in a Balenciaga show one day, we all got to spam the comment section. I will never get invited to a Balenciaga show unless like the team are just like they don't do their research or yeah. There's no way. Like the videos of me bashing Balenciaga and Demna have so many views on YouTube that I just can't see a world in which um the team don't see it. Like I have so many Balenciaga reviews that sit around 60 to 70,000 views and there's a lot of them. So there is absolutely no way the team haven't seen those. It's just impossible. But yeah, I really did love this show. Urbans, which one first? Ayo at a Lola show or Balenci Demna show? The thing is, I don't have any issues with Moa. Obviously, we had our little Twitter spout or whatever. I don't have any issues. I gave my opinion on a public affair that she had, and she couldn't take criticism. That's fine. I don't have any issues with her. I'm still going to review her work in the future. If I like it, I'll say I like it. If I don't, I'll say I don't like it. It's not, I don't have anything against Moa. So I don't and also Moa is like a more I wouldn't say independent because she has investors, but like she's not destroying the legacy of her of like a storied luxury house the way Demna is. So I don't really have that same critique for Moa. Like Moa is building her world. So there's critiques that I wouldn't really have for Moa that I have for Demna. Oh, come on, Ibe, love Demna. I do love Demna. I don't like any of his work in the past. Over the past like 2 to 3 years, I haven't liked any of his work, especially that LA show. I think the LA show was definitely the LA show was definitely probably one of the worst shows that came from a luxury house in a very long time. Like that was a different kind of low. It was so bad. If Lululemon did a runway show, they could have done Demna's runway show. If Lululemon collaborated with Erewhon, that's the Balenciaga show for the most part, apart from like the last couple of looks. That literally would have been the show. So yeah, I just think recent Demna work is just, it's almost erring on being lazy. It's almost like there's a certain laziness that I'm starting to detect in Demna's work. It's like you copy Margiela's belt dress, but then it doesn't even look well considered. It just looks like you slapped the belts together. Because when you compare that with Margiela's stuff, it looks more sculptured and structured, even though it's a belt shirt or belt jacket or whatever. So there's almost like a laziness that I'm getting from Demna's recent work. It's just like slapping things and seeing what works and what hits. So yeah, that's my main issue. But I do love Demna though, as a designer in general. Like I like his body of work. If we take his whole body of work, I'm definitely a fan. But the past 2 to 3 years, my gosh, like no. So this is Michelle's Instagram. I just wanted to show you guys this stuff quickly because she has an insanely good Comme des Garçons collection that I'm absolutely jealous of. And I would love, love, love to show you guys some of her fits. There's a funny meme online of her actually, because she was in Italy and she was looking for the location to a Marni show. And so she went to these Italian guys and she was like, "Oh, do you know where the Marni show is?" And they didn't speak English, so they thought she was saying Armani. So she's like, "Marni, Marni," and they're like, "Ah, Almani, Almani." She's like, "No, no, Marni, Marni." They're like, "Ah, Almani." That video is hilarious. It's so funny. I want to see if she has that. I need to see if she has that. Also, I love that Schiaparelli inspired piece that Rei Kawakubo obviously made, the kind of like shoe hat thing. I need to see if she has that on her Instagram because that thing was hilarious. I feel like it's an old video though, so it might be, I might have to scroll for a bit. But that thing was so funny. Like, money, no, 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 Almani, Almani, Almani. It's like, no, I'm looking for money. Oh, you mean Almani? We know Almani. I love Italian so much. Oh, I remember now. I've seen this video. I'm actually committed to finding this video. Almani, Almani. Oh, her fits though. Oh my gosh, she be styling on them. Styling on them. What? No, Michelle is so cool. Ah, that's my icon, Diane. Shout out to Diane. We love Diane. Yeah, this is definitely one of her mainline com kind of things at Paris Fashion Week. But see what I mean? Like it's sunny outside and she's wearing that. Like I can't imagine if I wore something like that, I would be so I'd be sweating like a mad person. I'd be sweating like I've lost my mind. No, we can't find the Marnie meme. No. No. We can't find the meme, guys. She probably posts a lot because my word, does she have a lot of posts? Like, good lord. She's definitely a poster. I love women who sacrifice for fashion. Rihanna said she has to if she wants to wear the things she does, even if she's uncomfortable. Couldn't be me, but I admire it. Yeah, I admire it too. I definitely admire it. Wait, is it in the Vogue video? Taking a pic in full designer outside an Ibis hotel, kind of iconic to stunt in front of the middle class brokies. Maybe that was also the hotel she was staying in, because some Ibis hotels in Paris are really expensive actually. After doing cosplay, I suffer for fashion a lot, though I still try to wear natural fibers. I have nothing but respect for the Michelles and Isabella Blows and Daphne Guinnesses of the world. Pure commitment and dedication. Oh my God. So, talking about Daphne Guinness, the most random ass thing happened. So, when I went to Milan for the Gucci show recently, actually, on my way back, they paid for a driver to take me from the airport to my house. And I was just talking to the driver because it was like a really interesting guy, because he's like kind of a driver for like a VIP kind of like chauffeur company. So he drives so many people. And he's become friends with a lot of celebrities because of his job. So he's actually friends with Daphne Guinness. And he was telling me how he was telling me how Daphne Guinness trusts him so much that one time, and I didn't know that I know Daphne Guinness is like rich, and I know that Daphne Guinness like is like has a crazy life, but I didn't know it was that crazy. Where apparently, according to this driver, Daphne Guinness forgot her, like, was it a diamond bracelet or something, and it was worth like £1 million, and she forgot it somewhere, and she didn't trust anyone to go and get it but this driver. So she put him on a private jet just to go and collect her diamond bracelet and bring it back to the UK. Do you know how insane that is? And she paid him just to go and collect her diamond bracelet worth £1 million and bring it back to her. Like, like the story, that was just one story. Obviously, he told me loads of stories of like, he was telling me that obviously Daphne Guinness is not very, she's not very sociable, really antisocial. So Daphne Guinness has to drink loads of alcohol and become really, really drunk before she can go to a party. So she's like, every time he's driving her, she like drinks loads and loads of alcohol, like whole bottles of vodka and stuff, until she's absolutely smashed before she's ready to go to whatever party she's going to, because she's very, very antisocial and she has social anxiety and stuff. So it was really cool. Like, I felt like I knew who Daphne Guinness was just by talking to this guy. He told me hundreds of stories about her. So it's interesting, Luke, that you mentioned like the Isabella Blows and the Michelles and the Daphne Guinnesses of the world. People say Guinness money. I mean, yeah, she is a Guinness at the end of the day. So what can we say? Like, yeah, Daphne Guinness's life is insane. Didn't she have like a villa in Spain? And like Salvador Dali was like a friend of her family, and like, yo, her life is a movie, honestly. Plenty says she's working on herself and her mental health though. Yeah, I've been seeing that. I'm gonna meet her one day. I'm manifesting it. I love Daphne Guinness though. Daphne Guinness is such an icon. It's not even like, she's so iconic, so iconic. But yeah, shout out to Michelle though. I love the people that sacrifice for fashion, like fashion with a capital F. Like fashion is her. She is fashion type shit. Like I just love the commitment. Oh, nice picture of Tebe Magugu. We love a Tebe Magugu appearance on the stream. Pio Paolo. Her grandmother's husband was Oswald Mosley. Yeah, I mean, movie. Absolute movie. Absolute movie. But Luke, I'm sure you're going to meet her one day. I'm so sure you're going to meet her. I'm very sure. Is someone say I'm living a soft life? Nepo baby privileges. It wasn't on my dime, it was on Gucci's dime. They're the ones that paid for me to get chauffeured back to my house. It wasn't me. It's not my money, guys. I don't have money. It's Gucci. Luke says I want to be Daphne Guinness. Luke is gonna meet his Lord and Savior Galliano soon. Have you seen this video where a guy tries on vintage loafers, says, "Oh yeah, it fits," and then starts kangaroo hopping, but his feet hurt? I haven't seen that video, but that sounds funny. I've decided I'm probably doing another BA, but in fashion design. Luke, I thought you were going to do an MA, like a fashion design MA. So you've decided to do a BA. I guess it's good because if you don't come from a design background, it's almost impossible getting on an MA anyway. So yeah. I just realized with that look, Ray reminds me of Goya the painter. Interesting. Luke says I was going to do the MA, but my heart is in design. That would be interesting. I would love, Luke, to critique your designs when you start designing on the live stream. That would be so much fun. That would be so much fun. I think though the issue is Luke has probably watched so many of these live streams, and Luke probably reads about fashion enough to where I'm expecting fireworks from your work. I probably won't have bad things to say because I can assume that your frame of mind when it comes to design, you're going to think about things a certain way. And if you reference something, you're going to think of the reference in a 360 way. You're not just going to like slap on a print and keep it moving. So yeah. But that's funny. His Lord and Savior, John Galliano. This man said, don't expect any theatrics or DIY Matty Bovan-esque bullshit. Damn. Why is Matty Bovan catching strays? Leave Matty alone. Luke, let Matty be. I mean, Matty Bovan's work just reminds me of like art project club kids type of vibe. That when I think of Matty Bovan, that's just what I think about. Very theatrical, but unrefined theatrical. It's like needs a lot of refinement, like loads of refinement. We expect a lot from you, Luke. But yeah, I think anyway, I'm going to take my leave, guys, so we can prepare for the stream. Before I go, actually, I think I said on the last live that I'm going to open up the Discord to everyone. So I'm just going to post it when I remember to. So because the what's it? The selling point of my Patreon is not the Discord. That's not why people subscribe. It's to watch the book club episodes and all that sort of stuff. So if you guys want to join the Discord, I'll post the link in the chat now, and you guys can, join the Discord. And I'll also put it in the description if you guys don't remember to do that. So that way you guys can join if you so want to. If you so desire to chat with me out of hours of when I stream, then you can join. But yeah. Yes, the vote is closed, by the way. The vote is definitely closed. Yeah, today was short because I'm trying now to give the live streams more playback, kind of like just easier to play back in a way. So yeah. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. It was very good looking at Chitose Abe Sacai collection. The people have voted, so the next stream will be a discussion about Burberry, and then after that, we will be talking about L'Enfant, which is more fun to me. It's less fun for me to talk about Burberry, but I'll do it anyway because that's what you guys voted for. But yeah, see you guys later. Join the Discord and you can continue chatting to me while I work through the night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, probably.